All right, here we go. I did an example for myself to see what problem the IRS has, let alone the United States government. I figured out where the United States government messed up. Roughly on 43,000, if you take it times 0.06 tax, which is the normal 6 cents off every dollar, since that won't actually ever change, comes up to roughly $2,580. If you come up with a 5% tax on SSI to where you actually get something in your account, in your SSI account, for a $43,000 job, off the $43,000, which is a mistake by accounting, comes up to $8,600 in just SSI. Now, grant that's for $43,000 at 5%, which is a decent size of money by the time you retire at 65, providing you can keep that $43,000 job constantly, non-salary. Now, when you add those two figures together at $11,180 is what the total is. $11,180 at $8,600, $2,580. Now, tell me one thing I did that you can't actually do mathematically in accounting. One, I can't keep going back to $43,000. Now, SSI, I end up going back to $43,000 because it's smart. Get the highest amount in there as fast as you can before, the people end up having to regret, oh, damn, I lost my job. At least now you got about, roughly most people will have about at least 8,000 to at least 16,000 to run off on UC and technically welfare. But the funny part about it is, let's not go to welfare right away before we go get medical. We'll go get SNAP and we'll go get food stamp or cash assistance before we get medical, because technically it's cheaper not to go through them. Cobra offers roughly around an $800 plan with Cobra to roughly around $1,050 plan where they're charging you $2,000 and $3,000 for the Northern Corsalis and also Athena, which the Cobra does cover dental. Easy way to keep the good amount you make with Cobra is Cobra runs off a certain amount of your paycheck. So if Cobra sees that you went from 28,000 to, let's say, 33,000 difference in the year, they'll slightly charge you about $25, maybe $30 more through the year. Maybe I think the total was 180 in difference between my two pay rates, which wasn't bad for insurance for 12 months out of the year, which covers roughly a 75 over 25. Even though you can get cheaper with a 60 over 40. If you're not one of these people that go into hospitals, you can technically put your plan together with Cobra. Now, let's talk about a little bit about how you deduct off a gross amount, which technically we're going to say the total amount. We're not going to say gross because gross is not required in the form of accounting to be set. So therefore, we'll say the total amount. So for whatever reason, those two taxes are there. Which one do you actually take off first? You take SSI out first, or do you take your taxes out first? Now, since we know that taxes come with a state, federal, and local, which I believe they're using I gotta think about that one, but let's just say for example, because state is not required as a tax anymore, the state is no longer in effect. All right, when we say state normally, if you're paying state taxes, you're covering the fact that you might get a little bit of money back, and you also get the benefits of technically welfare. At the same time, I'll be honest with you, you can go down when into the courts and technically cheaper than welfare, as welfare will say it's free, but at the same time, you're probably paying about a total of anywhere between $400 to $500 out on welfare, which welfare come back at you through the IRS or raise your taxes. What welfare's biggest problem is it doesn't know how to say, okay, well that's paid back, even though it's your own money out of your SSI account, that's paid back, but what do we do with it? Technically, if a person spends within a small amount of time of 3 months, they spend roughly about $2,800. Welfare gets about $250. Or if they were a tax-bearing state, they get the exempt of tax for the building or for what they call workman's paychecks. That's why being an independent contractor, going into Shopback or Frito-Lay is better than actually utilizing any form of them keeping accounting for you. Because that cost is all on you now, and it's not on Frito-Lay or Shopback. Now, in reference of welfare, welfare is doing exactly what a manager would do if you were still working. Except now you're not working, and technically, as some people say, they're fronting you money. Same thing as what they call loan sharks. Even though it's over a longer period of time, 5 to 10 years, to pay back. Even though they have no rights to your SSI or any type of federal withholdings out of your account. Federal technically is not a term for government. So the government's saying out of every paycheck that they're getting, out of, let's say, how many Americans do we have here, or just people in general? We don't often get the refugee list and population numbers because they try to add it into the American civilian statuses as on the list. Oh, you're American today until we get your money, and then guess what? You're a refugee. We're random that we don't like. But anyway, to get the point pretty darn clear on this idea, if you take the taxes out before you take SSI out, you technically would be doing yourself a big favor. Any other taxes, state, local, and federal, which at the same time I believe state no longer exists, unless it's a low-line tax for doing the roads and keeping highways clear. But at the same time, that's also the federal's responsibility, so therefore there shouldn't be a state tax. And that's what I was thinking about the state taxes. Because the state government up and walked out of here years ago. In 1983, they were out of here by 1989. So if they're still charging you a state tax, then they are not doing their job. But anyway, by the time this is all said and done, if they do the calculations straight down through, just like you see it on your checks, where it says how much you earned, what is it? SSI, Medicaid, state, federal, and local, then they're doing it backwards. If they're constantly going back to the $43,000, then they are in trouble. The only time taxes can fluctuate in the sense of SSI and Medicaid is if you do the taxes first, in the sense that you're not getting this, or you're paying federal, so you got welfare, or a legal thing to where they normally collect about $40, $50 off the top, and that goes into a secondary account of technically a legal service under Medicaid or Medicare, which is supposed to be Medicare because Medicaid dumped the United States out a long time ago. So if you're paying Medicaid, you're more than likely a crackhead because Medicare is now the actual tax, which is higher or Medicaid's not as high because you got the SSI building up faster than Medicaid, or mainly faster than the federal. If the federal's catching up to your SSI numbers, then you got a huge problem because they're collecting too much money off you at a low side income of 43,000. So, just to let you know, someone definitely messed up on quite a few jobs. It's not technically the employee's responsibility as much as, guess who hands in that money every month? The company. So guess what? When it all hits the fan with the IRS, you're also in trouble.